Good evening. I'll call this meeting of the Cartersville City Council to order. If you'll please stand for our invocation and pledge.
Let us pray. Kind and gracious God, creator of all, you formed us with the unique powers for seeking the common good, for shaping and sharing a vision, and for collaboration to reach our goals. Empower this council with wisdom. Sustain and guard all public employees as they serve the needs of others. We ask for your comforting grace with Keith and his family upon the death of Keith's grandfather. We ask all these things for your honor and glory. Amen.
Amen. With me, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Ulmer, the roll, please.
Carrie Hodge, Ward 1. Here. Jay Stepp, Ward 2.
Here.
Louis Consmeyer, Ward 3.
Right here.
Calvin Cooley, Ward 4.
Here,
Diane Tate, Ward 5.
Here.
Taft Wren, Ward 6.
Present.
Gang's all here. First order of business is the approval of the council meetings minutes from November 2nd. Council, you've had these in advance of tonight. I had an opportunity to review them. I wasn't here. I couldn't tell you what happened and what didn't. So y'all
It's all good.
see if it's all good, and if it is, a motion's in order.
Motion approved.
second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Ms. Ulmer, you have our first item, please.
Yes, a typo was discovered in our occupational tax ordinance. It currently states that we charge a 20% late fee on business license renewals, and we do not. We actually charge a 10% fee, which is what is allowed to us by the state. We would just like to have that corrected, please. This is a second reading, and it is recommended for approval.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion approved. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Porta, pension amendment.
Yes, Mayor. What for you is a change in the pension plan, basically the mortality rate table. Every once in a while, the actuaries take a look at this and adjust the numbers. This will go update this from 1983 to the current unisex data table. We'll see what happens in the future with our actuary when he does the number for our pension plan, but it's recommended by the pension board for your approval.
Okay. Any questions for Dan on this item? If there's not, an opportunity for any discussion or motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We have, Mr. Mino, why don't you kick us off on this next item, please?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We have an adopted impact fee ordinance with the city of Cartersville. Because of that, we have to do an annual update to our comprehensive plan, short-term work program portion of it, and the CIE. And with that, we recommend that council approve the mayor to sign a resolution asking us to forward it to them. Them being Northwest Georgia Regional Development Center and the Department of Community Affairs. Sorry.
Okay. Any questions for Randy?
Mayor, how many years did we have impact fees? 07 to,
How many years have we had it rolled back to
We've
zero?
had the
We rolled
ordinance
them
in
back-
place since 07, 08, and we rolled it back, I believe,
was 08,
2009, it may have been.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Before we approve the resolution, we have to have a public hearing.
Yes.
So right now, I'll open up that public hearing for the approval of the capital improvements element, short-term work program annual update. And anybody wishing to step forward, speak for or against, may do so at this time. Guess you'll have to elbow Randy out of the way if you do. All right. And seeing that there's nobody wishing to do so, I'll close the public hearing and pass it on to council for a potential motion for allowing me to sign a resolution relative to this capital improvements element.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We have a comprehensive plan update. Mr. Hardegree.
Yes. This year we're doing the 10-year update to the comprehensive plan. The last plan was adopted in 2007. Unlike the last update, this plan is being done as a joint comprehensive plan update with the county. The county had their public hearing yesterday and allowed the commissioner to transmit the plan to Northwest Regional Center. We're also doing that. We're going to ask the mayor to, if you would allow him to sign a transmittal letter allowing the city to transmit or the comprehensive plan to Northwest Regional Center, Northwest Georgia Regional Center, where they'll forward it on to the state for review and approval. We'll be back before you the first of the year where we'll need to adopt the plan, to officially adopt the plan before the end of February. So now in the next 2 months will be a review period, still at staff level as well as the state level.
We do have copies of it online and hard copies of it. It's about 300 pages if you want.
It is
When
online.
you say it's
if you want to
online,
see
it's
it.
online on our website?
Planning and Development webpage. It's online there.
Okay. Very good. Any questions or discussion?
This doesn't need a public hearing, that does.
We advertised a public hearing. Technically, the commissioner held a public hearing yesterday
Okay.
because it's a county plan.
Okay.
Okay. I'll open up a public hearing. Anybody wants to talk about the comprehensive plan update? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. And council, again, throw it to you for, I guess, allowing me to sign the resolution relative to that comprehensive plan.
Letter of transmittal.
Letter of transmittal. Thank
Motion
you,
to
Mr.
approve.
Moon. Thank you.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everybody, for all the help with that. Ms. Ulmer, you have the election results.
Yes. On the chart to the left, we have mayor and council. On the chart to the right, you have city school board. Just to kind of briefly go over it. Mayor Santini and Councilmember Hodge were reelected. Newly elected officials are Mr. Kerry Roth for Ward 3 and Gary Fox for Ward 5. In regards to the school board elections, board members Johnson, Braid, and Dye were reelected. Ms. Panter was newly elected for school board Ward 5. From my understanding, it takes a motion from council to approve these. I met with the Bartow voter, the voting board, and we went over the numbers, and I would recommend approval of this.
Okay. I'm sorry, I've got somebody, mayor over here is bothering me. We need a motion to approve the results of this.
I make a motion to approve those results.
Second.
All
Second.
in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. What's next? Thank you, Gary.
No problem.
No, thank you for getting me back on track.
Okay. This is a Public Service Commission consent agreement for the Bartow County Countywide Safety Plan, and we recommend council approve it and authorize you as the city clerk to sign it.
Okay. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Reinhardt, you have the next item. And I'll just warn you, we're going to have those other items before you do the finance report. So.
Okay. Honorable Mayor and Council, we have several departments within the city that are requesting new vehicles. Total 11 bids were advertised on the city's website, and we had 7 vendors to respond to the bids. Low bidders were not chosen on all the vehicles advertised because after the departments reviewed the bids for the low bidder and the garage looked at the bids also, it was determined that 4 of those bids were not, 4 of the low bids were not fully what we were asking for on the bid sheets. As a result, we've had a change to the recreation department because of budgetary reasons is not, will not be making the purchase of the 3/4 ton truck, and so that bid will not be awarded tonight. In addition, the fire department also is requesting funds be allocated for the sedan vehicle for the equipment, lights, sirens, and graphics. That total for those estimated cost add-ons are $7,280.26 for a total not to exceed price on the fire department sedan of $30,714.26. All vehicles were budgeted with the exception of 2, one of which was the water department 4x4 half-ton truck, and one was the other water department medium-duty truck. The half-ton truck was needing to be replaced because one that we were replacing had been basically causing a wreck and was a total loss. And the water department 3/4 ton or medium duty truck has a blown head gasket, and the cost of the repair on that will be more than the truck is worth. Budget amendments for the two water trucks that were not budgeted will be passed along, and I actually have those. I'm waiting for this to be approved tonight. And the vehicles that were to be purchased through lease-through purchase include the fire department sedan, the gas department 4x4 regular cab pickup trucks, gas department medium-duty truck, the planning department 4x4 regular cab pickup trucks, the recreation department 4x2 half-ton regular cab pickup truck, and the solid waste 4x2 half-ton regular cab pickup truck. I recommend the purchase of the 13 vehicles as outlined in the agenda, because it's very lengthy, to be purchased from the 5 vendors in the amount totaling $445,175.86, and that does include the cost of the add-ons for the fire department sedan.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or discussion?
Mayor, I got a question, and Mr. Grove and I talked about it a minute, but I guess it's a water department question.
She wants to know why your trucks are so expensive, Bob.
The 4x4, not the 4x2.
Are you talking about half-ton or the medium duty?
Well, I'm not sure how it's
Both
divided
of them,
out.
but combined together were like
There.
$120,000, and
Right.
22.
The medium-duty trucks are the big crew trucks that you see, the four-door crew trucks that have the specialized utility beds, those type of things on them. And I don't remember the comparative prices, but there was somebody else that bought one very similar. You got the, yeah. Let's see.
121.
There's another 2-ton, and then you had 2.
Right.
Prices were really different.
There was
navigation, sunroof.
Right, all the standard trimmings. I mean, it's basically what we spec as an XL level truck. It's a rubber floor mat, a vinyl seat, wheelbase to match the bed that we have to get the volume that we need.
The beds themselves, because they are a special type bed, they do add quite a bit of a cost to that unit.
Right. And I don't know if the others had a bed included with them. I think they did. Right.
Thank you, Bob.
But yeah, if there's an option that we're putting on these that's driving that price up different than somebody else, we basically use the same bid that we've used in 2006, which is the last time we bought one of these. We just polished it up to the modern
It's an
standards.
extended cab.
It's a crew cab. It's a 4-door cab. Yes.
That also has cost.
That's probably different.
Right.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks.
they get it.
Yes, sir.
Kind of forgot we were voting on. Can you repeat all those again, Tom?
I can't go into.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Is there any other questions or discussion? If not, a motion is in order.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Tom. Mr. Anderson. There it is.
Okay, yes, Mayor and Council. Parks and Recreation Department, we're trying to improve our athletic fields and also cut down on our maintenance time. We have been researching a piece of equipment that helps in the removal of lips around infield, outfield, baseball, softball fields, and sidelines and stuff for soccer and football. And this is really the only piece of equipment that we've found. It's similar to a verticutter, but it is different from a verticutter in the fact that it does removes mostly dirt only. But anyway, after researching this and having staff go to Chattooga County High School to view their demo, I'm recommending $10,995 from Power Turf Renovation for a Power Turf Renovator. This is a budgeted item and will go on lease pool.
Okay. Any discussion on this item? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Council, we have 5 items to add to the agenda tonight. I'll entertain a motion to add those 5 items.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
5 items added. Mr. Jones, why don't you start us off with your compliance order?
Good evening, everyone. What we have is an expedited enforcement compliance order. These are the mechanism through which EPD enforces permit violations. And what happened with this particular instance was when Hurricane Irma came through and dumped all the rain on us, we get high influent flow in the wastewater plant. That dilutes the influent concentration, but we have in our permit a requirement to remove greater than 85% of two constituents. When you dilute that coming into the plant, that hurts you in that equation, and then the higher flow reduces the efficiency of the plant. That hurts you again on the other half of the equation. And when you do the math, we came out to, I believe it was something in the high 70s, 79%. So we missed our target of 85. Now, typically what has happened in the past when this occurs, they realize that this was caused by that rush of water from a big storm, and we've been able to talk to them and not actually be fined for especially a named storm type event. That process started today. With these enforcement orders, you have 15 days to respond. So it felt like the prudent thing to do was to go ahead and bring it to council, get approval to pay it. If we can talk to them over the next day or two, and of course negotiate our way out of this like we have successfully done in the past, we'll certainly do that. But by going ahead and bringing it to you tonight, we can get authorization to pay it and be ready to go if that is unsuccessful.
The only thing I wonder in addition, with the small dollar amount on these, if we need to set up a procedure that would allow us to deal with the smaller ones administratively so we didn't have to put it on the council agenda. I don't know if that has any merit or if you all are interested in doing that or not.
I can tell you that historically, you know, prior to my tenure, these were all done internally, particularly because what you see, most of where these come from is we have a manhole overflow. We self-report that, and it'll generate something like this. Those fines range anywhere. I think the smallest one I remember getting was $250, you know, up to $1,500, something in that neighborhood. And we have signed and processed those internally for a number of years.
Yeah, we had legal review this one.
Right.
And Keith said it needed your approval.
Okay. So if we wanted to continue with the way we've been doing it, then we could put in that administrative procedure. And if you want to see each one of these when they occur, then we would keep doing them like this one.
Well, let's go ahead and get through this one, maybe something to put on the to-do list or envisioning, see how we feel on that. So if there's any other discussion, that's fine. If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Hopefully you'll talk your way out of that one, Bob. Let's see, Randy, Mr. Menino, why don't you do the next one, and then we'll do Archer, and then Grove.
Okay.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. This is a proposed amendment to the alcohol ordinance. This year, New Year's Eve will be on a Sunday. There's a handful of restaurants that have pouring licenses that don't have Sunday serving license. What this ordinance allows them to do, if they choose to open on Sunday to celebrate New Year's Eve, they would be allowed to get a one-time or one-day serving license for that particular Sunday. The the Alcohol Control Board did recommend approval of this ordinance change.
Thank you very much. Chair will entertain a motion.
Comment?
Sure, go right ahead.
Is there been any opposition in regards to this, in regards to people that actually pay for that full year supply of the Sunday sales?
Not that I've heard, no.
And what's the charge for this? Is it just?
There'll be no fee. It's one time, one Sunday of the year.
It's kind of similar to what Savannah does when St. Patrick's Day falls on a Sunday, I would guess. But actually was brought to my attention, and I'm kind of glad it did, because again, I'm sure the restaurants that this would impact haven't even thought about it, and they wouldn't think about it until the week before New Year's, and they wouldn't be able to do what they'd like to do on New Year's Eve without having us pass this particular ordinance. It would have been too late to do anything.
And contrary to that, if you were somebody that was paying for that Sunday license, you would think it's a little unfair for them.
I don't see how. If you've got the Sunday license,
You wouldn't have to do this, so basically.
No, you would, because of the sales.
this only applies to the people that have a Sunday license.
The sales time, they're increasing the sales time from.
So if you don't have it, clarify that. 'cause I
This
think
applies to the folks who do not have a Sunday
Yeah, I was
license.
gonna say.
There are a couple of restaurants that don't serve on Sundays.
Oh, I got you.
They're gonna allow them to that one
It
day.
affects a total of 8 restaurants in the city.
Is it not
There's-
increasing the or increasing the amount of time you can sell alcohol to on the Sundays
No.
until 1:30?
Tho- th- Those are the same hours as approved by the state for the Sunday
Yeah,
license.
there's nothing to go.
This allows a one-time Sunday license, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Any other discussion? Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Well, quick note, this is an ordinance, this is a first reading,
Oh,
so you can't
well, never
vote till the
mind.
next reading.
Take that back.
I retreat.
I'm gonna vote again, I'll
Oh.
vote no again next time.
I've got another note here. First reading, no vote. Sorry about that.
I jumped in, Mayor, sorry.
Yeah, we voted, it's not binding. Mr. Archer, you got the next two items.
Yeah, first is
On that.
a requirement for the city council to approve a deed of dedication from the developer of Wingfoot Park Phase 2A out near Atco. He has proposed a right-of-way deed of dedication on the streets and infrastructure in the subdivision. And also, he has included a form for irrevocable standby letter of credit, the amount of $55,000 for maintenance, should that be necessary. This requires council approval, and we recommend that you do so.
Okay. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, Mr. Archer.
Yeah, the city has received an anti-litem notice, which is a prerequisite for someone to sue a city with regards to an incident that occurred on November 2nd, 2017. The claimant was Jonathan Parker, and he has an alleged claim for injuries. He was riding his bicycle, according to the anti-litem notice, and hit a speed bump. They have, his lawyers have claimed damages. The law requires us to either approve or deny the claim. We have no information. There's no police incident report, and the claimant's lawyers have really provided us nothing. So we would recommend that, based on the information that we have, which is very little to none, that you deny the claim, and we prepare a resolution. Meredith got a copy of it.
Okay, thank you. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to deny the claim.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Grove, you have a resolution.
Sure. This resolution was brought to our attention when Emerson recently passed one. It's a resolution that urges the Georgia General Assembly to oppose de-annexation legislation. There was, I guess, a case or an instance of this in Stockbridge, or at least they're used as the poster child to allow de-annexation without notice or city input, and to, in essence, create another city on the edge of Stockbridge. So this urges the Georgia General Assembly to oppose any legislation that would do that.
Okay.
Mayor, I certainly hope that our delegation will understand the issues of planning and all the things the city has to do to know both the boundaries and the numbers in the population. So I hope this council will work with the delegation to make sure they understand those issues.
And I think it's worth noting that our local delegation of 5 have been, I think they've done a great job in representing the interests of local governments. I don't think there's anybody that's behind any of this, but I think a number of cities are trying to pass the similar resolution to kind of get it on the radar, to kind of show, again, anybody, and it's certainly not a conservative principle as that would allow for the state to come down and control what happens locally without local input. So,
You guys want to sign that?
Thank you.
so with that being said, Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Reinhardt, the financial report, please.
Honorable Mayor and Council, we'll be looking at the September 2017 and comparing it to September 2016 financial report. General fund revenues increased over last September by $56,000. Expenses have also increased by $576,000. And if you remember, we made an early truck payment for a fire truck in July. The three areas of revenue I look at on a monthly basis are the local option sales tax, have an increase in that line item of $57,000 over last year. Police fines and forfeitures have an increase of $14,000 over last year. And building permits and inspection fees have a decrease of about $46,000. The water and sewer fund revenues increased over last September by $56,000. Expenses increased by $100,000. This is due to increased personnel coupled with decreased operating expenses and decreased capital expenses. And the gas fund revenues increased over last September by $196,000. Expenses increased by $317,000. This is due to increased personnel expenses, increased operating expenses, increased cost of purchased gas, and increased capital expenses. In the electric fund, revenues decreased over last year by $1.6 million. Expenses decreased by $153,000. This is due to decreased cost of purchased electricity and decreased capital expenses. In the stormwater fund, revenues increased over last year by $23,000. Expenses decreased by $8,000, and this is due to decreased operating expenses. Solid waste fund revenues increased over last September by $32,000, while expenses increased over last year by $59,000. This is due to increased personnel expenses and increased operating expenses. And finally, the fiber optics fund revenues increased over last September by $53,000. Expenses increased by $159,000, and this is due to increased operating expenses and increased capital expenses. That is my report for the evening.
Very good. Any comments? You got anything to add to that?
There are monthly deficits in general gas, stormwater, and solid waste. Nothing to be concerned about. There is a year-to-date deficit in gas and general fund. Those are typical this time of year. General fund will continue to reflect that until property tax comes in, and when the weather cools off and Gary starts selling gas, that'll correct too, so I think we're okay. Cash is trending up.
Okay. Anything else to add or any questions for Tom on the financial report? Thank you, sir. Any other business that needs to come before council this evening? Yes, sir, Mr. Anderson.
Yes, Mayor and Council. This Saturday at Dellinger Park, we're hosting the GRPA District 5 football championships. Cartersville is in the championship in 8, 10s, and 12s, and we'll be playing the winner of Dalton and Bartow County, and we will play the winner with a chance to go to Savannah. So come out and see our teams play.
Is all three teams, Cartersville versus Dalton?
Dalton and Bartow are playing tonight, and the winner of those games will play us. We got the luck of the coin flip.
Cool.
So.
Very good. Also, obviously tomorrow night, Cartersville continues their roll through the football playoffs, hopefully. That game will be at Weinman Stadium. Encourage everybody to go out and support the team. During the meeting, I got a text from the head coach. They were in search of an air horn to blare before the game, and they have found one. He's rather excited about that. He says, tell everybody, and so there I am telling everybody. Also, we won't meet again until Thanksgiving, certainly a time of thanks. And I want to extend a thank you on behalf of all of City Council to all the fine people of our city that work every day to make it a better place. So we got a great staff. We got a number of people that are going to be working during that holiday to make sure that our residents are safe, warm, have power, and hopefully be a very boring day for everybody that's got to work that day. But just want to extend our thanks and gratitude to the great job that our employees do 365 days a year. And that's all I've got. Anyone else? If not,
Motion to adjourn.
adjourn.
Not debatable.
Stay go.
And does not require.